back with Catherine, and she's made her way to Prick Willow in Cambridgeshire. Catherine's come to hear about the centuries-old battle to control nature and drain 400,000 hectares of land, known as the Fens, much of which is below sea level. She's visiting the Prick Willow Drainage Engine Museum to meet founder member Mike Penberth to learn more.
As I understand it, the Fens is known as a very fertile landscape. I understand it hasn't always been that way. So what was life really like for the people before the drainage?
Very wet and pretty tough. It was quite an unhealthy environment. There was forms of malaria. It would have been cold and pretty miserable.
So something had to be done. So when did that happen?
Well, there have been various attempts to drain the Fens, but not very successful. Around 1600, King Charles got Cornelius Vermuyden to come from Holland. He'd had some success in draining the polders in Holland.
One of the most talented Dutch waterway and drainage engineers, Cornelius Vermuyden, successfully turned the waterlogged marsh of Fenland into profitable farmland.
What did Cornelius Vermuyden do?
He straightened the main river. The main river that runs through the Fens is the Great Ouse. It carried the water from Bedfordshire Hills straight through the Fen and out to sea, bypassing all the meandering that had gone on in the past when the rivers moved about with the seasons.
How long did that take?
Probably the best part of 100 years.
Wow.
It came either side of the Civil War. There were prisoners of war to be employed. So the Dutch, Scottish, French all played a part, all done by hand.
Back then, though, in the 1600s, that was no easy task. What happened after that? What was the next stage?
Well, the next stage was rather strange. The drainage had taken the water out of the peat and left the rivers higher than the land. The rivers had a hard bed. They had a silt and gravel bed, so they stayed where they were, and the land shrank either side of them.
So hold on, so if the rivers were above land, then why aren't we underwater now? That doesn't make sense.
We're now pumped.
Right.
The Fen is pumped. That started in Vermuyden's time, pumping into the main rivers with wind pumps.
Oh, I see.
And then in the early 1800s, we had steam engines, and they were employed.
I can see these amazing engines. Presumably, they power the pump?
Yes, that's right. This is a 250 horsepower Merleys Bickerton and Day that lifted 140 tonnes a minute.
Oh my goodness.
From the drain into the river.
Always keen to get stuck in, Catherine's convinced engine operator John to give her a go on this blast injection engine, which was built in 1924.
Oh!
Stand by!
Wow!
Blast off!
This one? So is this the noise it would have made for this pumping? Blimey! Woo! It sounds amazing, doesn't it? Really fantastic, really good. Great bit of machinery. Thank you so much.
Thanks to Cornelius Vermuyden and machines like this, there are more than 4,000 farms in the Fens which are still pumped to this day, proving that while we may never be able to fully control nature, it can be harnessed and improve the lives of many.